Last game I did mention maybe that early pool was to kind of fake out his opponent. I have no idea if that was his idea. If it was, then it's definitely not going to work a second time because he didn't show any aggression. And we do have Protoss starting to form a wall now, and it looks very possible like he's going to be expanding in the same fashion as GdR gets double gas again. So both players, I think, really playing in the same style as they did last game.
Yeah, this is just a weird style. I mean, Chaotix at least makes perfect sense. GdR's is just a strange opening. I'm not going to argue that didn't work for him last game. He apparently likes heavy gas. Oh, and there's the Baneling, so maybe he is just going to go for one base Baneling build and just try and do a Bane bust. But yeah, it's strange, you know. Opening with such an early spawning pool usually isn't even that good for psychological, just because 6 pools just don't work against good players. You know what I mean? Like they're the kind of thing that bronze players and silver players are afraid of, but it just, you know, balance-wise, it doesn't work. You can't win with 6 pools against competent players. So,
well, may I remind you of Fruit Dealer's games in the GSL? He did do a 6 pool on, I believe, Kulos Ravine. Did work. So even then, even at pro levels, sometimes 6 pools can work.
Yeah,
but
it definitely does. And there were some amazing 6 pool, like, you know, even you know, pro StarCraft 1 replays from out of nowhere. And look at this production, man. He really stepped that up with the early Queen production. With having that early Queen out, he was able to get a lot of Lings out of nowhere. Ling speed is just about a quarter of the way done. But yes, I agree. Obviously, any strat works occasionally, but I don't know. So I'm not generally afraid of it, but there's a whole other meta level of strategy going on when you've got someone like Fruit Dealer, because I won't even get into why it's so awkward that the strategies that beat pros tend to not work on average players and vice versa. It's really odd.
No, you're absolutely correct. And we see a lot of Banelings, more so than the initial 5 I thought that we were going to see, because 5 take out one pylon.
This is a huge bust coming up here.
Yeah, this is a chompy ass bust. Gonna go for that pylon now. Yeah, taking that down, but those cannons are still powered. A lot of Zealots going down, but for the moment, Protoss is able to repel that Baneling bust.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't see him take out that Forge, because that would have really hindered the ability to bounce back with extra cannons and whatnot. And even having that one Zealot still sitting there, that was really just a perfect sentry shield. It just happened to be right where it needed to be. It kept that Zealot from going down. It kept them from just really pouring in through the center, diverted them a little bit to the left, and more of them had to pop, taking out pylons and cannons and whatnot, and it just didn't do anything. So, not a bad move, and we'll have to see how GdR is going to bounce back. The toughest thing about doing a quick Baneling bust is that Banelings are surprisingly crippling to your economy. You know, normally Lings are cheap and you can pump them out in huge quantities, but as soon as you start morphing mass amounts of them into Banelings, your econ just goes away. It's a really heavy build, and it tends to cripple you by keeping you at tier 1 and keeping you at Banelings. So it's kind of like an addictive process, is that you think, oh, I'll just do that one more time. I'll just do that one more time. And then by the time you realize you've spent all your money on self-destructing units and your opponent has grown larger than you, especially when your opponent is a toss player who's already expanded. So it's kind of a bad thing to get hooked on. I hope he moves away from it quicker.
Yep. Of course, that kind of play, takes a lot of minerals, takes a lot of gas, and of course your units blow up, so you can't keep them around. So now this is the point where Zerg needs to change tactics, macro up. He's got his expansion. He's also taking down the rocks for the high yield minerals near his base. So again, setting himself up for a late game. But yeah, I think this Zerg is very competent.
Yeah, really, everybody's just kind of camping out here. We've got weapons going up from Protoss. Protoss is in the right position here. I just want to see a few more workers from him, but just to saturate his expansion a little bit. Hell, I would just Maynard half those workers and really just saturate that right off the bat. But good scouting from GdR. I like the fact that he's got the Overlord kind of surround going on here. He's got perfect obs in that he's got control of the Zelnaga Tower, and he's got Overlords to the left and to the right. No problems there, really. And his tech is going up, so we'll just have to see what he goes for. I mean, roaches are not bad. Looks like kind of a standard game. He tried a gimmick and it didn't work, and he got away from it, which is what I was worried about. Is a lot of players will just think, "Oh, just keep rushing," and no.
Yeah, and Protoss didn't take advantage of that. He could have probably tried to muster up some forces instead of spending so much on cannons and defense. He could have probably gotten a lot more units out and counterattacked. I think. because you know the Zerg player is they are weak after kind of failed baneling busts like that. But instead, yeah, he's turtling up. He's getting his upgrades. He's getting immortals out, and really allowing Zerg to freely get his economy back and running. Not quite there yet. Still trailing by 7 harvesters, but no doubt he'll be producing many drones like he did last game.
Yeah, let's see, he's got tier 2 up now, so now the real question is, what is he doing? Okay, so he's getting roach speed, so he's definitely committing here to roaches a little bit. Double gas going up for the Zerg player as well. GdR, pretty much doing what I would expect him to be doing. I'd hope he'd get a Hydra Den up if he's going to be going for the ground, you know, Roach Hydra army, or a 3rd expansion sometime soon, because he's definitely got room on the left-hand side of the map to get some expansions out there. He even had these 3 Zerglings spending the whole time chewing down those rocks, and they actually cleared out the gold expansion on his own. But here's the big surge coming from Protoss. Now Protoss has finally got his double econ up, and he's got his warp gates going, and he's only 3 gate 1 robo at the moment, but he's, you know, making the best of it. With Blink being just started being researched.
Just while that's happening, there's also a changeling inside of the Protoss's base. Going to be able to check everything out, but really that's not what the information he really wants. He really wants to know what kind of units are streaming his way. He's just pumping out a whole bunch of roaches, putting out another spine crawler, and getting some decent creep spread. So it's just, this is a weird position. I think Protoss should attack right now, and the longer he waits, the more it goes in terms of Zerg's favor. Yeah, that's all I can say. I think he's just teching too much. He's getting armor, he's getting blink now, more mortals, which are really gas heavy. Although he is getting 4 more gateways to increase his unit production ability, but still, he should be doing something more, I think.
I think you're absolutely right. He's underestimating his map position at this point. He has a dominant army right now, and the fact that Zerg is just switching to pure production and he's starting to do nothing but make armies, and you can see he's got all of his upgrades. He's got armor, he's got groove spines coming for the Hydralisks, and Burrow even. He's just got everything coming here. So he's only going to be getting bigger now that he's finally stopped producing drones. So, yeah, I want to see him attack. You know, he's got all the production he needs to just attack right now. Lots of immortals.
Yeah, even as an observer in his opponent's base, so that should give him a better indication. I'm pretty sure he saw the gold expansion. Yes, he did. Changeling running by, going to see that army. So really, Zerg has excellent map control. Protoss is going to try to deny that expansion, which was already canceled, so unfortunately, he can't even do that at the moment. And oddly enough, they're retreating again.
Yeah, and GdR assuming a defensive position. He's got his Hydralisk up on the hill. Not bad. I mean, you know, that's a reasonable stance to defend at. But again, this is, you know, everybody's kind of just being careful this match, which is kind of odd. They're being overly defensive, I think, overly conservative. Protoss really has map position here. He just needs scouting enough to confirm that he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he has a really scary army at the moment. Zerg probably wants to retake the gold and might be taking a satellite expansion, actually. Nope, just sending out a Zerg just to check for any kind of satellite expos. Good creep spread. Getting that gold again. And Protoss, thankfully, having taken out the rocks, getting his high yield expansion going.
Yeah, Protoss adding more and more warp gates, which seems really odd, especially since he's only got 3 of his 4 gas being mined from at the moment. He's just adding more gates because I'm sure he's realizing he's got too much money lying around, but he just probably doesn't have the right proportion of gas coming in.
All right, we might see an attack now. Hydra's getting position, Roach is at the bottom, and no, Protoss retreating, having been satisfied with killing off all those creep tumors.
Yeah, and that's definitely not something to undervalue. That's a huge map position to take out creep tumors. Creep tumors take a lot of time to spawn just in general. Oh, and killing that changeling right away.
Oh, yeah,
and, looks like finally